Hi everyone, welcome back to Life as an Artist. This week I want to do a bit of a talking vlog this week. No time lapse of showing you what I've been doing in the studio, so if you've come here to watch that, better leave it until next week or the week after. Yeah, I want to discuss video art. Yeah, I want to discuss video art really, and a friend of mine put me onto the idea of, yeah, they saw the vlogs and thought, why aren't I using the skills that I've acquired editing and recording the vlogs to kind of make video art? And I thought about that for a while and realised, in a sense, what I am doing is video art, and if that sounds a bit strange, because when you think traditionally of video art, it's yeah, a little bit more esoteric and kind of, oh, how do you say it politely? A bit trippy, you know, that it doesn't make sense in the same sense that film does, and I think that's what puts some members of the public off. You have to really invest time and energy, and it's not like there's a start, middle and an end. There's no storyline, there's no easy access. It's just like an experience that kind of washes over you. And I mean, I know for myself for a long time that's what kind of put me off video art, so maybe I'm projecting my own kind of insecurities on other people. But after considering it, I realised that that's not something that I want to do. But what I do want to do is continue making these vlogs. Video art, you know, really started as the beginning of when we started making films. It was a pioneering exercise. We didn't know what a film was or what kind of route it was going to take. And I suppose artists also dabbled in that, and you ended up with these kind of experimental pieces of work. Now, 100 years on, we have firmly in our kind of societal mind what the idea of a film is and what video art is. But originally they were very similar, and they kind of split yeah, a while back. And I'm kind of trying to argue that right now social media as a medium hasn't really split in the same sense that film has. We're also still quite new to social media, and we haven't really you know, had time to reflect upon it as a medium in itself. And I considered this and thought, well, in the same way that the video artists used video art as a medium to produce, use video as a medium, sorry, to produce art, is it possible to use social media as a medium to produce art? And I mean, one of the other core things that I believe in my practice is to try and make the artwork as accessible to the public as possible. I think art shouldn't be elitist, and it shouldn't be removed from society, and it should be for as many people as possible. And perhaps making these videos is another way of actually doing that. When someone walks past a gallery in the street and looks at it and thinks, oh, what rubbish, you know, I just think, what an utter shame, you know. It's really, you know, taken someone time and energy, and they feel like it's important enough to share with the world, and then when people you know, don't have the time or the capacity to even understand that, I don't think that's their fault. I think that's also part of the role of the artist to try and make that accessible. So with that kind of thought process, I think that's what I'm trying to do here with my vlogs. To delve into that a little bit deeper, there is this idea within video art, how it was this experimental thing and it bridged the gap. It was interdisciplinary. There was video artists that were performing artists that were painters and musicians and sculptors, and they used technology in a new way and combined everything in a very interdisciplinary way, bridging the gap between all these things and ending up with something quite unique at the end. And I also take influence from that. Sometimes I feel that my life is somewhat performative, in the sense that I have this very clear idea of morality and a sense of how society perhaps would be run in a much better way, and people accuse me of utopianism. But this utopia, in my mind, is where I want to live. So, I mean, obviously if you ever get there, perhaps I'll change my mind, but right now it's very difficult to remove yourself from that when you think, I find it ridiculous the amount of money we pay for rent when you know, a mortgage is the same or less, or the amount of money we spend on electricity or food for that matter. I mean, I'm not saying rent and electricity are necessities, but food certainly is, and you know, for the modern life, rent and electricity also are, and yet they take up a huge amount of our time in the form of labour that you know, to accrue capital to then pay for those base needs. And I find that slightly ridiculous, and we all kind of go along as if it's the natural thing. But you know, it's only with inspecting this and critiquing it and trying to find a better way to spend our time and our energy as humans that we change. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I am a part of this society, as are you, and we function in a capitalistic role. You know, you're required to kind of do some work to make some money in order to function. Otherwise, you're kind of on the fringes of society, and that's another way of going about it and dealing with the issues that I find important. But for me, I'm not really comfortable doing that. I would much rather be within. And it might seem somewhat hypocritical, but that for me is, I'm comfortable with it, and the way I'm comfortable with that is through somewhat performatively playing the role of a capitalist artist, where you make specific work that's hyper-commercial with the intent of it being sold. And there is other works that democratise the ideas of art, like the vlogs and like the work that I do with Deconstructed Authenticity. And I really think that this type of work allows, you know, the kind of uninitiated person in the street that doesn't know, you know, particularly much about art, to actually have an entrance in. You know, it's a gateway into the art world and understanding and a way of enriching people's lives. And for me, that's what this is really all about. Bruce Nauman said, if I was an artist and I was in the studio, then whatever I was doing must be art. That's a quote from him. And I thought about this, and I thought, now in our kind of switched on lives where you're 100% online, 100% kind of switched on, I don't want to produce art all the time. I don't want every waking second of every waking day to be considered art. And that's then another take on this. You know, what we put online is a face. It is something that we choose to express. It's not an inherent expression of the self without any bias. You know, you choose to act in a certain way. You choose what to post and you choose what to upload and share. And I suppose this is also another idea that I'm playing with, where these types of work, I choose to show you what I show you. It's not a 24-hour stream of my life, and that might be yeah, another route that I go down in the future. But that then is ticking some sort of other box. You know, we're right now the aim is to just give you a way in. And I suppose I considered this for a long time as just recording or documentation, and in reality I think it's much more akin to art than it is documentation. So that's the kind of idea I've been playing around this week, and I thought I'd just share it in this format, in a kind of video essay sort of thing. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I shall hopefully see you again next week. Take care, bye.